I'd be damned if I go by Belvedere while Puff got Ciroc. And to me, what that line said was, we'd rather go and spend our money with somebody else instead of keeping it to ourselves. That's the key to breaking this curse. We are not behind. We are not behind. The wealth gap, I don't believe it's a myth. It is some truths in it, but we are not behind. We are clearly unfocused, because if we are spending $1 trillion, but we don't have anything to show for it, what are we doing with our money? Right? What are we doing with our money? I mean, by the 70s, we are an overwhelmingly urban population. We lived in 81% of us in the 70s lived in urban areas compared to 72% of other Americans, non-African people. You know, the so-called white flight to the suburbs during the 50s and 60s, that contributed to the demographic shift too. And now this, and I want to touch on this right quick. The fact that we're starting to see more of us on screen now, I hope people don't get that confused. That is all on purpose. That is designed, because once they realize that we go out and spend money, they started paying, they started, you know, like they started putting us on TV a lot more now. You know, like Hollywood turned to black consumers to help it avert financial ruin at one point. Think about that for a minute. Hollywood had to turn to us because people stopped going to the movies and stuff. So they turned to us like, oh, well, I guess we'll go to the net, you know. And I get it. You know, that was MGM made an appeal in the 70s with Shaft, and they was desperately trying to reach out to put people that look like the people they were targeting on the screen. So we can be the coolest in the room. We can, if we'll do it, other people will do it, right? I think that's the message. I think that's the message. You know, MGM made bank off of us. Yet there are very few black directors. Excuse me. Oh, there's that bad word. I wish I'm going to download my boo so that every time I do that, I boo it. I need a rubber band on my hand. I mean, the black exploitation. That's what sex, crime, and violence is what they gave us. But, I mean, then hip-hop came around, and we all know the story of that. You know, hip-hop came around, and, of course, you know, it wasn't going to last a year, and then they say, you know, everybody's doing it, right? But my point in saying all of this is we have power. It's just unfocused power. If your electricity in your home was not focused to run through the breaker box or the outlets, and if it didn't have a design plan where it could go, it would just go everywhere. It would blow, or it would catch something on fire, or it would shoot out sparks. But once you control it and get it to go where you want it to go, now you can produce power in your home. Now you can do things like that because it is focused energy towards a goal. I need this light to come on, click. You know, like, this stuff's not hard. I want to give out my call-in number one more time. If there's anyone listening for the first time and you ever feel the need to call in to Jeremy Speaks and talk to me on the radio, it's 347-994-3320. I would be doing my normal 33 Dynasties of Egypt, but I felt like this message was more important for me to get out, and I had to get it out because I learned that buying power like that, somebody's respecting something. They may not want to see our face, but they want our money. So who really has the power? If $1 trillion will be missed. It'll be noticeably missed way before it gets to $1 trillion. And this is why it's so important that we speak to each other. We talk to each other. We force our way to make it work with each other so that we can get in front. We're not behind, because I tell you what, if we took $1 trillion and spent it with ourselves, things become, we don't need to go get bank loans. We don't need to go and ask people to give us money or this and that. If we keep it together, I wonder how much the GDP, or not the GDP, I wonder how much the market for the Hispanic, Latino, Mexican, and South American people that are crossing the border to get here, I wonder how much they contribute to this country as a whole. because that is probably they're going to be the majority in a few years. I wonder how much they contribute. That's something to think about. That's something to think about. We need. I don't want to just be somebody that just preaches it. I want to do it. I want to move in action and not in words. I don't want to just speak about it and do nothing. I want to. I know that this is something that also struck me. There are no Black African American insurance companies like that. They went from 50 to 2 from between the 50s and today. They went from 50 to 2. And there's only 2 insurers left. We're not even in charge of our own insurance that we need to have. Why not? Is it because we won't support our own? Is that what it is? Because I don't think that spending $1 trillion elsewhere gets us anywhere. You can still have the nice stuff. You can still have this and still have that. I just wanted to point out some discrepancies about that. We're valuable. The problem is I don't think we've been taught just how valuable we are. Therefore, we don't know. We don't think. We like things that are shiny. Hell, historically, we've always liked things that are shiny. You can go look at some pictures of some. They don't build all these statues and build these pyramids and stuff with inscriptions and jewelry and things to guide them into the afterlife if they don't like nice things. Nice things are what defined us back in the Egyptian times, That's who we are, who we were, who we need to be again. They still kind of do things that have derogatory images with us, towards us. And you know what? I'm over caring about it. I just found out that my part of this 14% population in America has over $1 trillion of spending/buying power. Problem is we're not taught how to have saving power. I wasn't taught. I'll speak for me. I was not taught how to have saving power. I'm not saying that's a people of African origin problem. That's just a socioeconomic problem. Like it depends on your area and your education on your finances and stuff. That's one of my aims, to educate myself and others about things that I feel like I should have learned long ago. I'm 35 and I'm just now finding out these things. I'm shocked. I feel stupid for not having this information already in my back pocket because, like everybody, I spend. Why are there no gas stations that I could go to where the people look like me? I mean, I can go where some are working, but how many are owned? How many? Like 100 years ago, we weren't a market. Now we have more in our arsenal as far as money than a whole damn country, and we're only 14% of the population in this country. That is amazing that we don't do more for each other and talk to each other. It should be like Fight Club, We should speak to each other, but nobody should ever know that we're speaking to each other. What's the number 1 rule of Fight Club? You don't talk about Fight Club. What's the number 2 rule of Fight Club? You don't talk about Fight Club. And I'm thinking it should be something like that. This Tuesday, it'll be back to, Tuesday will be back to my normal. Wednesdays will be back to the 33 Dynasties of Egypt. I have been enjoying that series, and it's crazy to see people that built pyramids with noses like me, lips like me, ears like me, and hair like me. That is mind-blowing. I just want to give my listeners who may not be familiar with my schedule, I will be going back. Jeremy Speaks on Everything will be tomorrow and Thursday, and Wednesday and Friday of this week, I will be going back to my Egyptian quest to find things on myself. I do want to shout out the women of African origin because my mother is one. So I decided to find out some information on one, and I found out some information on Angela Davis. She is a political activist Academic scholar and author, she was the leader of the Communist Party USA in the 1960s. She would advocate for prisoner rights. She co-founded the Critical Resistance, an organization working to abolish the prison industrial complex. Membership in the Communist Party led to former Governor of California Ronald Reagan's request in 1969 to bar her from teaching at any university in California. Really now. Huh. She conducts research on feminism, African American studies, I hate that label, critical thinking, Marxism, popular music, and social consciousness. Twice a candidate for vice president on the Communist Party USA ticket during the 1980s, and that is Angela Davis. She was born January 26, 1944, and she is still alive. She was rocking a throwback then. And one to deal with our topic of today, and that is the Montgomery bus boycott, which I did speak on. It was in Montgomery, Alabama from 1955 to 1956. And this shows you that the true power of a dollar is in not spending them. This was a political and social protest campaign against the policy of racial segregation within the public transit system of Montgomery, and it lasted 381 days. Prominent figures in the civil rights movement participated in the boycott. Their names were Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. I don't know if you've ever heard of that guy. Ralph Abernathy and Rosa Parks demanded Montgomery busing segregation laws be eliminated. It proved. I want to say that one more time. Economic boycotts by the African American population could lead to great results in the battle for civil rights, as the racial segregation of public segregation crumble under the financial losses of the companies, but we should have formed and supported our own companies by the same token. Despite this proof, the collective African-American efforts to economically boycott seem to have stagnated. I wish this energy and effort would find a way to birth itself again. That goes to show you the staying power of a dollar. We just have a saving and a stop spending problem. But like I said, I stated that was more socioeconomic than anything else. That was the Montgomery boycott and bus boycott. And we can get back to that again if we all come together to speak. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank you for listening to my show today. I had fun learning about this subject. And if anybody leave a like on my YouTube channel, leave a comment, This Tuesday, I'm going to try something new. I will be taking phone calls. I would like to take phone calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays going forward. So if anybody out there listening right now would like to call in Tuesday or Thursday, I'm going to give out that call-in number one more time. That is 347-994-3320, 347-994-3320. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. And remember, if we'll buy it, others will buy it too. It's fact. Companies push agendas based on us. If we're the coolest people when we walk in the room, doesn't that kind of make us the coolest people anywhere? I don't know, some food for thought. This is what I would like to encourage everyone to do. Look up consumer activism. Consumer activism. We are 14% of the population, and we have $1 trillion in buying power. Like, share, subscribe, comment, criticize. It is all welcome. I would like to once again thank you. Catch me tomorrow at 6:30 here on Blog Talk Radio, and I wish you all a good night. Also, before I go, to the people who are affected by the shooting, and those that I feel bad for the families. I feel terrible because it's not safe to go anywhere. I hope those people find a way to make it through. I've been Jeremy Speaks. Peace.
Guerrilla tactics atop the guerrilla tactics, it's time for warfare. Yo, we came to battle, yo, we aim to kill. Guerrilla tactics.